Court 11 and Professor Todd McKendrick. Welcome to our podcast, the very first podcast. You know me, my name is Matthew Morin, and together with Bommy, Hina, Trudy, Pam, and Iqbal, we call ourselves the Professionals. Today, we will be exploring professionalism. We will be touching on topics like value proposition, vision, analysis, measuring success, and planning to start a business. We've also been very fortunate to have a couple of experienced notaries lend their expertise to our podcast as well. All right, guys, I'm walking down Fraser Street near 45th, and I'm going towards the office of Akash Sablock. My classmates will remember Akash from this time last year when he spoke to us on our first day of class about how great it is to be a notary. I'm hoping that he'll have some pretty interesting insights about professionalism and some of the other topics that we're talking about today.
My practice is mostly conveyancing, so about 75-80% of my practice involves, mortgages, buying, selling property. We do a lot of wills. My father's been doing wills since 1977. I've been doing wills since I've been practicing since 1998, and a lot of second, third generation clients from him, and now from myself as well. A lot of powers of attorney. So for here in BC, we do a lot of power of attorney for overseas, for India, Philippines. And we also do a lot of statutory declarations, visitor visa documents, a lot of things to do with life planning. So we do have a busy practice. I think we're sort of in the medium as far as notaries are concerned. I know there's quite a few notaries that that have a larger practice, and some that are just starting out or have a smaller practice. We tend to do files in volume that we can handle, and we like to be comfortable with what we can do, just to save some room for some last minute files, because that does happen, but mostly just what we can handle and when we're comfortable doing.
All right, so here I am now in Richmond. I'm near Aberdeen Centre, and I'm standing near the office of Cheryl Kwok. My classmates will remember her from a couple weeks ago, and she spoke during our class. I want to get her perspective on some of these topics as a newer practicing notary.
I have started practicing since 2016. My commission date, I think, was like June the 8th. So I got my first deal on June the 8th.
Yeah.
It was just waiting to go.
Excellent.
Yeah, so in 2016, June, that's when I first started. Cool. Yeah, but I've been in the field for a long time. I used to work at another notary's office. Okay, I've worked there since 2007 summer. So I've always known that I wanted to do this. Everything that notaries can do, we pretty much do. Conveyancing is definitely the bulk. But the thing is, I also do a lot of personal planning because I'm a part of a lot of non-profit charity organizations. We also deal with a lot of leasehold, native land, and business assets and purchase. We also review commercial leases. So I think anything that they throw at us that, we're allowed to do, we do.
Thank you, Cheryl, and thank you, Akash, for telling us a little bit about your respective practices. Okay, so here's how this podcast is going to work. I'm going to turn the show over to my teammates who are each going to discuss their topics, and then we'll hear from the professional notaries and hear what they have to say about those topics as well. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn the show over to Pam and to Trudy, who are going to be discussing value proposition, vision, and professionalism in general.
What is the value of using professionalism in an independent notary practice? When starting a notary business, professionalism is key for strategic business excellence. How does one pursue and maintain professionalism in a notary practice? First, you have to care about what you're doing and feel good about it. Second, care and integrity must be relayed to your clients and your actions as you communicate and acknowledge them in your transactions. Communication of value must be clear. As a business professional, these standards must never be compromised. Clients have a belief based on your communication and actions with them about the value you put on your services and how those services will be delivered. What is value proposition? Where does this fit in? The value of your client relationship to your new business. A promise of value to be delivered to your clients. The value proposition of your notary business becomes the most important element of your business strategy. One of the key points stated by David Maister Too many professionals don't do what they do because they want to help their clients. They're in it only for the money or the personal prestige. In my view, such professionals may become good and even earn good incomes, but they will never be considered great. A notary is an individual professional where one can have a clear and simple statement of the benefits that you can offer. Its attitude, understanding, and concern for doing the best to your client, which is important. Value proposition answers the why someone should do business with you. It should convince a potential client why your services or products will be of value to them than similar offerings from your competitors. By explaining the value of services you offer, this resolves any difficulties for clients. Your clients will trust you with their sensitive information. Having a purpose and plan in your practice will help your office function in a clear and concise manner and fit your own personal values. Integrity, competence, quality of service, and your relationship to clients benefits you in your commitment to quality. When should it be implemented? Immediately. Value creation is a term that starts from the outside in. Clients need to feel that you can be trusted. You have to earn trust from your clients. As stated by David Maister, professionalism is not a value you give yourself. It's a description you hope others will apply to you.
We provide a service. We provide a service to our clients. We're expected to be knowledgeable in what we do, up to date on the laws and the transaction. And I think it's really important to have somebody that is up to date, has the education, and is able to provide that service to you. So if I'm going to a foot doctor and I want him or her to to be the best in what they can do and give me the best diagnosis and the best treatment for something that I might need. Similar to when a client comes to our office, we want to be able to provide them service. We want to make sure that we're up to date on the laws and we're handling the transaction property, whether it's a condo or a house or a $200,000 property or $20 million property. We want to make sure that we do it properly. As far as value-added services, in my office particularly, I have a client comes in. Of course, we talk about the real estate transaction, their purchase price deposit, their mortgage information. But we go over a little bit above. If you have a condo, have you got liability insurance? I don't need it. The bank doesn't need it, but it's important for them to have it. We talk about things like your closing's on this Friday. You're moving in on Saturday. Have you called up Hydro? Have you called up Fortis Gas? Have you called up Shaw or Telus? Have you set that up? And a lot of times they're like, oh, we totally forgot about that. But it's important. It's important to have those set up because it will get done, but it's nice to have it done properly. And so those are little things that we do for them.
What's in it for me? This is the phrase most of your clients will think when they are assessing their choice of service providers. In our case, our clients will think which notary they should hire for their service. And this is where your value proposition is crucial in order to differentiate yourself from your competition. We will now evaluate value proposition in relation to client relationships using the value proposition canvas. The canvas is divided into two domains: value proposition and customer profile. First, customer profile presents us with customer jobs. These jobs are where clients have 3 goals in mind: tasks to be achieved, problems to be resolved, and needs to be satisfied. The dynamic of customer jobs can be split into pains and gains, where gains are the needs and expectations and satisfaction and fulfillment. Pains, on the other hand, are roadblocks that prevent jobs from being fulfilled. A good example of a gain is if your client wants to buy their dream house and they are in need of your service. A pain, on a sadder note, is if a client urgently needs a will to be drafted for themselves or a loved one. The second domain is your value proposition. As notaries, this is where you present your services to your clients. The determination of the value of your service is dependent on your ability to provide them with gain creators and pain relievers. Gain creators are quite self-explanatory. They should be able to add value to your clients' lives or your clients should be able to gain something of value from your services. On the other hand, your services should also be able to resolve your clients' pains, some things they cannot do themselves that you can do as a notary on their behalf. The takeaway from this model is that the successfulness of your value proposition is dependent on its ability to fully align itself with your client profile. They need to meet and be a good fit. In the grand scheme of things, and to put into perspective, you should evaluate and optimize your value proposition using this Venn diagram. Here, you are presented with your competitors' value points, your value points, and your client's needs. This, in effect, creates points of parity, points of difference, and points of irrelevance. The points of parity, in essence, is the same values you and your competitors share and offer to clients. Less time should be focused on these points because it's a less effective strategy to push for something your competitors also offer. Instead, your focus should be on the points of difference. This is where you identify your strengths and stand out from the competition. By developing your value proposition based on the points of difference, what makes you shine, this should attract clients to your service. Think, why should clients use your service? Why you, not them? When determining and promoting your points of difference to your targeted audience. Finally, to maximize your time and focus, points of irrelevance should be identified and basically disregarded because clients, for example, would not care about technical skills such as being able to type 45 words per minute as Maester has discussed. It is what your service can bring to the table that your competitors cannot that matters most. In essence, to put the concepts into practice, when creating your value proposition for your notarial practice, consider the following steps. 1. What is your client profile? This is your targeted audience, who you wish to provide your services to. 2. What are your strengths? Take some time to brainstorm some keywords or phrases that define you, your value, and your practice. Then perhaps refine that list, such as solution-focused, cost-effective, quick turnaround time. 3. Who are your competitors? Think about the extent of the legal field. You versus other notaries, sole practitioner versus a company, and notaries versus lawyers. 4. Determine your value proposition. This is what you offer that your competition does not. Recall points of difference and focus on that. 5. Rank the importance of values based on client profile. The importance between the values you identified for your value proposition will not be the same for all your clients. Some will value time effectiveness more than cost effectiveness. As a result, you should identify what point is most important to you and for you to meet every time. 6. Test and refine through feedback systems. Implement client feedback metrics to reflect on the effectiveness of your value proposition and refine as your practice grows. Your value proposition should be fluid and should continue to adapt to the ever-changing market demands and client dynamics.
I think for us, with that high volume, you still have to remember each file, it's a file on its own, and each client is a client on its own. You can't just let me gloss over this one because I have a lot of other ones coming up. So which is why I say you take the volume that you feel you can handle and that you feel your staff can actually assist. Otherwise, don't take it. Right, so that to me is professionalism. For me, it's more about, reputation, about the stuff that I'm willing to do for them. I am literally on my phone 24/7 because I want to be able to answer the questions. Now, a lot of people are like, well, aren't you tired? You need that work-life balance, but that's the thing about me. When I see a question and I feel I can answer it, I want to answer you right away because when you asked, you want to know, and I want to let you know. So I answer emails all the time as long as I can. And I try my best to see them on weekends or evenings as well if I can, because I do understand that some people's work, they can't really take time off. And I understand you have office hours and everything, but unfortunately some people's circumstance need help. And I try my best to help them. And a lot of my clients come from referral sources. So I also have to, show my referral sources that, I do appreciate it, right? So then I try to do that extra little bit for their clients. But yeah.
All right, so what have we learned? Well, Professionalism may look a little bit different depending on what type of practice you have and what kind of volume you have, but there's some key aspects that remain constant throughout. Let's turn now to Hina and Bami, who are going to tell us a little bit about analysis.
Bami and I will be discussing vision statement and SWOT analysis. I will discuss both of these in detail, and Bami will provide you with examples that will assist you in understanding the concepts. Before I begin to explain the importance of having a vision statement in your business, it is important to understand the difference between a mission statement versus a vision statement, as these two statements are often mistaken to be the same thing. A mission statement focuses on the present aspects of your business. It is essentially the general description of your business, its function and goal, and its approach on how to reach the day-to-day goals. A vision statement focuses on the future of your business. It states the desired goals and the future of where you want your business to be. Together, the mission statement and the vision statement makes up the company's culture, the values, and the goals. In this slide, I provided 3 examples of large businesses, including McDonald's, Walmart, and Samsung. These 3 businesses have clearly stated their mission and their vision statement. As you can see, these statements are different from one another. The mission statement focuses more on the everyday services, whereas the vision statement explains the long-term goals and the aspirations of the business. As mentioned, a vision statement describes a business's long-term goals. A vision statement helps the business stay focused and motivated to complete long-term goals rather than focusing on the typical day-to-day tasks. The statement should be positive and motivate not only your current staff, but also potential employees. Ultimately, a vision statement should be unique and make your business stand out in comparison to similar businesses. Each business should have a set time, whether that is annually or semi-annually, where they review the vision statement. This ensures that the business is assessing their work and ensuring that their long-term goals are going to be achieved. Also, if the long-term goals of the business have changed or the vision has changed, the business can amend their vision statement accordingly. Your vision statement should be simple and easy to read. The statement should reflect your future goals. It should be realistic and challenging. Lastly, the vision statement should be inspirational, where the staff and community feel it reflects their interests as well. So if our group was to start a notary practice together, this would be our vision statement. As a trusted tradition, we aim to provide exceptional customer service so clients refer our services to their friends and family. This statement will act as a guidance for all notary members and employees who want to achieve the same goal. So now moving on to SWOT analysis. SWOT is an acronym which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. A SWOT analysis is a planning tool that is used to guide businesses that are starting new projects. These projects can simply range from building a new house to opening up your new business. The SWOT analysis assesses possible factors, both internal and external, that can affect your project. Ultimately, the end goal of the SWOT analysis is to determine whether or not the project is a good idea. Strengths are positive factors that will benefit your project and things that you can control. Weaknesses are negative factors that can affect your project. Opportunities are external factors that can possibly help your project become successful. And threats are external factors that can negatively affect the project. So this is how a typical SWOT analysis diagram looks like. It splits the diagram into 4 columns. The top 2 columns, strength and weaknesses, are your internal columns. The bottom 2 columns, Opportunities and threats are the external columns, meaning something that is not directly affected by you. The left side focuses on your strengths and opportunities. This side is referred to as the positive side, whereas the right-hand side focuses on your weaknesses and threats, and this side is referred to as the negative side. So now I will pass it on to Bami, who will discuss the SWOT analysis and provide some examples.
Thanks, Ina. So this SWOT analysis focuses on busy notaries. Now let's talk about the examples of our SWOT analysis. Let's begin with strengths. One of the biggest strengths is that customer gets a more personal approach when dealing with notaries versus lawyers. Another one is if you're looking to start up your own business, it has low startup cost as this is a service-based industry and you don't have to buy any inventory to resell. In British Columbia, we have a very good support system. In case we need any help or any support, we can contact our fellow notaries or the Society of Notaries. Another one is word of mouth marketing, which is very big nowadays as it is free, but you have to earn it. For example, when you get a good service and you tell your friends and family about it, but don't forget it can harm the business as well because word of mouth marketing could be bad if you are providing a bad customer service. So make sure you're providing a good customer service for good word of mouth marketing. Last but not the least are referrals. The perk of this business is we get referrals if we know what we are doing. And don't be afraid to ask for the referrals. Always remember, you won't get if you don't ask. Okay, now let's move on to the weaknesses. First one is limitations. There are some limitations on the work we can do versus what lawyers can do. For example, trust wills. Another one is high competition. That's another big one, especially in the lower mainland area. A lot of notaries prefer to work in the lower mainland area versus other areas like Okanagan. Another one is smaller business. Less opportunity to expand your business, less advertisement, as in clients are not aware of smaller businesses in comparison to larger firms. So potentially less business where you're starting out. Last is staffing level. It's very hard to find a good staff. Most of the notaries start up their own businesses because of the low startup costs. So it's really hard to find a good staff for your business. Now let's move on to the opportunities. First one is digital adoption. Most of the businesses are adopting the digital platform versus using the paper. Another one is mobile notary. Not all of the notaries offer mobile services. This service would help you in getting more business in case someone can't come to your office for any reason. That way you can go to their home or office and sell them the services they need and get more profit and more business. Another one is satellite office. You can also consider opening a satellite office in the smaller communities, which will help your business and profits to grow. Another one is building network. So what I mean by building network is make contacts with other professionals like mortgage brokers, real estate agents, banks, so that you can get the business from them. Also, go out there and sponsor some events to build connections. That will eventually help your business to grow. Another one is marketing. Don't just rely on the word of mouth marketing. Also invest in newspaper marketing, radio marketing, and social media marketing, which is pretty big nowadays. Last but not the least are seminars. Go to different places and do seminars to educate people about what notaries can do and why is it important for them to have a will or representation agreement. Because most of the people don't know what's importance of having a will or representation agreement, and it's our job to educate them. Now let's move on to the threats. Competition is a threat to the business and it can result in the price war, which is not good for your business. Another one is insurance costs. Insurance costs are increasing every year because of the claims and the frauds that are happening. And we need to protect our business, so we need insurance, and there are no other alternatives for this. Another one is change in regulations. For example, government applied the stress test that needs to be passed to get the mortgage, and that affected the housing market in British Columbia, which affected the notary's business as well. Last but not the least is market variance. As we all know, you can't control the market. For example, notaries and lawyers made good money in 2016 as there was a boom in the housing market. And from last couple of years, market has been slow, which affects our business as well. So this SWOT analysis is more specific and applicable to us because it focuses on yourself and your future if you choose to open up your own practice, whereas the other SWOT analysis focused on BC notaries in general. This SWOT will vary from person to person as we all are different and we all have different experiences and skills. The points listed above are just some examples as to what you may add to your SWOT when you first open up your business. For example, my personal strength is I know how to manage a business because I have been managing a business for the last 5 years. However, my weakness would be convincing since I have never done any work related to this field. Whereas Hina's analysis would be the exact opposite to mine. Hina has convincing experience but has never managed a business.
I think strengths for us is always been our ability to keep up to date with technology, keep up to date with education, just so we can provide those services. There's some things that we specialize in, especially say powers of attorney for overseas, and we specialize in those because we're constantly keeping ourselves up to date with that. And I think that's definitely something that you could do in whatever particular field that you want to specialize in. I have some notary friends that do manufactured homes, mobile homes, and they're fantastic. And in fact, I refer my clients to them just because I know they're going to get taken care of. They're great at it, and they're going to get great customer service. As far as weaknesses, yes, we have to see what we can't do, and similar to what I just said, we need to tell the client, say, look, I'm not the best person for that. This is where you need to go. I think a big weakness is people that say, yes, I can do everything, and you can't. And I think that's hard on yourself, it's hard on your staff, and eventually it'll be difficult for your client to get the transaction that they want. As far as opportunities, yes, we get involved in our community, we get involved in the businesses in the area, and the residences in the area, and the community groups in the area, whether it be a sports community or even a fun activity, a seniors group or something like that. We get involved, and I think it's fun for us, it's fun for them, and we're able to be there to answer questions that they may have.
Threats is always there, right? Threats is in every field. Every field there's always competition and there's nothing much you can do about it. But the thing is, I think, talk to the people around you, because for one, we're all in the same field. There's no point in, me undercutting the other guy, and there's no point in the other guy undercutting me. If we're all doing the same thing, we provide the same value to our clients from our field, so why not make the same? So I literally had a talk, I think I'm one of those brand new notaries that a lot of people are like, huh? Because I will just straight up tell you, I may be new, but that's how I talk.
Right.
That's just how I am. I went to them and say, this is what you charge. I think that's too little. I'm going to charge this. Why not have a working relationship that we can both earn the same? If they want to choose you because you give better service than me, kudos to you.
Okay, so we have learned that analysis is very important, especially when you're starting out a business, but it's just as important to keep it up throughout the course of your practice. Things may change, the analysis may change. Furthermore, the analysis is going to be different for each one of us. We each have different strengths and different weaknesses, so we have to make this list for ourselves, each of us. Let's pivot now to myself. We're going to talk about measuring success. Okay, let's talk about metrics. We want to talk about measuring success, but before we can do that, we need to start with a conversation about goals. Now I'm going to start with a real-life example that I've used when it comes to setting goals, and that is the idea of setting what are called SMART goals. And of course, in this context, SMART is an acronym, and it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. And these are fairly straightforward, but the idea is that a specific goal is something that is definable. Measurable is what we're going to talk more about. Achievable and realistic, just the idea that the goal cannot be too lofty that it's unrealistic to achieve it. And timely, you want to define a time frame here, so that could be quarterly or monthly. We're going to focus a little bit more on the measurable piece. And we start by asking the question, how do you measure success? And there isn't necessarily a single correct answer to this question. Maybe for you, that might be number of files per month or per year. Maybe success is measured based on profit, based on dollars. Maybe it's based on feedback, either from clients or from employees. I'm going to give you a real-life example of something that I have used in my job. We use a survey system. You've probably seen something like it. We call it Net Promoter. It starts with any customers in our context that use our service get a little survey emailed to them. And there's a key question on the survey, which is, how likely are you to recommend this service? And customers or clients can answer on a 1 to 10 scale. I think most people get the idea of answering 1 through 10 on a survey, but they might not know how their response is calculated. So if the client answers with a 7 or an 8, that's considered a passive. Somebody who scores passive is someone who used the service, came home, probably forgot all about it afterwards. It maybe met expectations, but certainly did not exceed them. Now, if you answered a 9 or a 10, that's good. That's what they're looking for. You're considered a promoter at that point. A promoter is somebody who is likely to tell somebody else about the service. And finally, if you answer a 1 through 6, you are a detractor. This means that you are likely to tell somebody something negative about the service, and that, of course, is bad. The other thing to note about this, or what we were always told, is that a single detractor is quite a bit worse than a single promoter, meaning a detractor is likely to speak to more people about the service than a promoter is. I actually have a real-life example of this happening to me recently. I had a chip in my windshield, and so I took it to the glass repair shop. And when they were finished with the service, they told me, hey, we're going to send you a survey, and we would really like it if you answered with a 9 or a 10 on the survey. Anything below that is bad. Now, of course, this defeats the whole purpose of even sending the survey. If you're looking for honest feedback from your clients, you need to allow them to give it to you in an uninfluenced way. Otherwise, why bother? Okay, so let's bring some of these ideas back to Meister. Meister says measurements can be invaluable in giving guidance, but are a profoundly pathetic substitute for effective judgments. This quote was taken from Meister's website under a post called Don't Measure, Judge. He goes on to say that as human beings, we're remarkably well equipped to judge things, and we can form an accurate picture of what's going on just by looking, talking, and interacting, even for only a short period of time. What he's trying to say with all of this is that the idea that measurements alone can be effective, that monitoring what is going on through the use of these kind of scorecards, that is a false hypothesis, and that we are actually better off to just use our innate judgment to assess the situation. So I think what he means, if I can kind of paraphrase it, is while the numbers maybe can be effective, you can't solely rely on the numbers. I think the theme throughout all of this is that profitability, which is what we all want at the end of the day, is really a byproduct of professionalism. So, if we bring it all back together, what can we take away from all this? Well, there's 3 things, I guess. We want to set smart goals, think of ways to measure success, and remember, don't focus exclusively on the numbers.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be super shallow here and just say money. You know, like that's basically at the end of the day, it's a career, it's a job. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and, and say something like really like, like all these classy and grandeur thinking. It's literally just money, right? Like I have a goal of what I make every month, what I make every year. And if I hit that, then I'm doing, what I am set out to do. If I'm not doing it, then I need to figure out, am I supposed to come up with a different revenue stream? What am I doing wrong, or what am I doing not enough, right? To be able to make it. So I do measure it by when people see me. I have a lot of people that refer to me that don't know, that I don't know. I've never heard of them. But I'm like, well, how did you know about me? So they're like, oh, I heard about you from so-and-so or my clients' friends. My reputation, as I said, is everything to me. I need to make sure that people know who I am and know that I do good work. That's a measurement as well, right? So basically everything is linked, because without that, I'm not going to be able to make the money, right? So these are the things that I look at.
I mean, we do have a minimum that we need, just to cover overheads and costs, but at the same time, I think it's really important to have files that where clients are happy, we're happy doing them. I think for us, the biggest measurement of success is having a client that they'll call you up and say, hey, you did my transaction 5 years ago. I'm moving, I'm buying and selling. I'd like to use the services again. And then that's a great feeling. And even more than that is when they refer friends over. Hey, my next door neighbor, my buddy used your office for his transaction. We'd like to use you as well. And I think for us, that is the best feeling in the world.
Okay, so to tie this all together, lastly, we're going to turn to my teammate Iqbal, who's going to tell us about planning to start a business. And he's going to draw upon a lot of the themes that we've been exploring thus far.
Managing one's own business is the dream of countless number of people. There are risks involved, and managing a business can be scary. A business owner can lose a lot by just a slight oversight of an important aspect of their business. Planning is hence an integral part and a cornerstone for effective management. All of us are going to be plunging into an unknown entity, so the need of planning for every step of our business is of utmost importance. I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett, and to quote him, one only has to do a very few things right in their life, so long as they don't do too many things wrong. So one needs to plan for every aspect of the business to ensure that we do more things right than wrong. Starting a business is exciting, laws are not. So one needs to understand the rules that govern their business. For example, forming a legal structure, or setting up an accounting system, or hiring an employee are all governed by some laws. These laws may be provincial, federal, local, or may be governed by the business structure or the industry that we are going to work in. The main idea is to absorb everything, be a sponge. Listen to others, your friends, family, experts, peers, and most important of all, listen to yourself. Ask for honest opinions from others. Have a look at their responses. Read the body language. All of this will give you a reflection of how the clients will feel and react to your business. Be ready to learn from the experience of others, especially their mistakes. The executive summary is for yourself and for others. It becomes a quick reference book and a go-to guide whenever in dilemma. You have written this with a clear mind, and so whenever faced with a situation in future, it will act as a guide on what you intended to do at the first place. Be a solution for your clients' issues, and profits will follow. Think about how and what your service can solve for the client. It is a lot easier to gain a solid customer base when your business is fixing a problem. Know what problems your target customers face and how you can solve them. Again, as Warren Buffett says, price is what you pay, value is what you get. If you want your business to succeed, network, market yourself. One of our teams is going to expand further on this and will give us a chance to talk about this in detail. But for a start, conduct market research. Talk to the target customers to find out your business's potential. And always be open for communication. Warren Buffett says, it's better to hang out with people better than you. Pick out associates whose behavior is better than yours, and you will drift in that direction. Hence, picking the right people for your team is of utmost importance. It's all about the money. The costs to launch and operate a business are huge. So have an educated number for such costs and quadruple it. Yes, quadruple it. It's always better to be overprepared than to be short on funds at the start of your business. And as we had discussed, always pay yourself, as you need the money to live. Then create a business budget. Keep your business simple for yourself and for your customers. Do not overcomplicate things. Have a small, narrow, but a positive focus. Strive to create a simple, quality service which fulfills promises to the customers and even exceeds their expectations. Cut down on unnecessary costs, but invests in the things which are going to help in future. For example, better technology. As a professional, you will be burdened with excuses and fears of failing. Excuses only slow you down from reaching your goals. You should have confidence, be patient, and give your business some time. Balance your passion with wisdom. Be confident about the direction you're headed and sustain the momentum you need to get there. Warren Buffett says, no matter how great the talent or efforts, some things take time. You cannot produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant.
There you have it, folks. The facts of life according to Iqbal. But in all seriousness, planning is important. Whether you're thinking about establishing your own practice from scratch or going in with another notary or partnering up, you want to have a plan. And we could certainly do much worse than to heed the advice of Warren Buffett. So that brings our podcast to a close, folks. I want to thank my teammates for making this all possible, for lending us their expertise. I also want to extend a big thank you to Akash Sablock and to Cheryl Kwok for lending us their professional expertise on this topic. On behalf of my group, The Professionals, we hope that you've enjoyed watching. Thank you.